Blood Festival. Click, and 1 stone. It's a good sound. Nachi black stone to the board of Keiru. As if there would be a while here, Takeya third-ranked Sir Aramura took the fan and put his elbow on it. First of all, relax, showing the ruggedness of the margin. The person who is dealing with the station is Shigeki Awa. What kind of? However, it's been a while since I wandered in the air on the board, with a white stone of Korean shellfish sandwiched between his fingers. Click. It's a sound soon. It finally looked like the hand of Hanmara Fire. Talented Inaguchi. White hid in a flash. Komairu. Hate, I'm a lonely enemy. It's called Sun Tsukuhen's Fushite, that is, it's a military art. Stop laughing, a painful excuse. The battle cloud was vague immediately. The go board go stones are fine, but it seems that both Mamoru Awa and Sir Aramura are in the Colander group, which is not uncommon. However, the match between the undefeated kitten and the Lord of the Genius and the middle-aged lord is an exciting go enemy apart from his skill. This is a part of the Shimoyashiki, a tea ceremony called neighboring tea. In the Tsukiyazakuri, where the deeply sunk backyard, autumn grass and plexus bamboo were distributed for the first time, the old-fashioned short cage was lit with lights and the sound of fighting stones. A worm that screams like rain. When the sound of the insect stopped. Dawn. A vassal crouched on the stepping stone in the garden. What? Awamori keeps an eye on the board. I'm going to leave the ship tomorrow. I want to get a little help about Manabu. What do you say? House-shaped furniture on board. Click. I'm thinking about what to do after Shall we go as usual? Leave it to Kinasuk in the forest. Why don't you just leave your luggage from Kyoto with that? Absent. Then, due to Shio's convenience, Manabu will unravel the rope tomorrow. This is a word from Mr. Mori, and I hope that he will prepare something for the palace tonight. I know. When a servant bowed away and walked away. Calling oh, wait, Mamoru Awa turned to me for the first time in the light of a short cage. Can you still see the people who are more comfortable than Kyoto? I haven't been to Gochaka yet. I have told you, but if you can see it, go here immediately. I know. After a while, the sound of insects and the sound of ghost stones again. Sir Takeya was the first lord to be glared at by the shogunate when he was still 18 years old, because he screamed to defeat Tokugawa in the plot of the Horiki change. However, he was one of the most reliable people of the time, Taiyuan Emperor. Aramura suddenly disappeared as soon as the other 17 Lord Dogami was accused of being guilty. The theory that he committed suicide at that time, it was exclusively. Is freedom tied up in the hands of the shogunate? Aramura, who has the spirit of saying, is not supposed to commit suicide. He hid in the back of the Kosori Hachisuka family and slept and woke up for a long time, reading Suka Shinto's theological books and his grandson Wuchi's soldiers' books. He often argues with Shigeki. He is good at military science, archery, equestrian, and whatever he can do in the mansion. Sir Aramura, the third-ranked lord, hates compromises, so he sometimes screams, and by extension, immediately defeat the shogunate. It turns out that it seems that Awa Mamoru is also afraid of this. The young lord of the cold and poor, who had no reserves of a Chihei-chiya, could vomit any radical discussions, but Shigeki had the shackles of Fudai Daimyo, Awa 250,000 stones. Yes, it's rarely possible to move. Even if the red heart of the king, the spirit of the anti-Tokugawa, and the burning things in his chest, he did something bad, but on the white wall of the castle of Inatsu since the feudal Lord Masakatsu, there was a hole in the Yatama smoke glass ball. It becomes a flame fit. Don't miss it. We've just arrived. The vassal just before reported. Along the garden, he is called the Kyo Ronin, a guest who went to Tsukiya, but the truth is that he is the 3 lords of Shichijo left Horsehead, Yumikii right general, and Katano left Kyotayu. Because it was a tea room with a uniform and unobtrusive appearance, there was no humorous nod, and the light of the short cage was so quiet that it couldn't be shaken. Wait for me. when Awamori returned to his seat by sweeping the stones on the board, about the tale. It looked a lot late, complains in the face of the third-ranked Lord Takeya. Because the eyes of the Kyoto Makibugyo are annoyingly watching, Admiral Wright makes a gentle excuse. Shichijo left horsehead, again. When I am in Awa-ho, I will finally remember the reason why I will be withdrawn to the national table at Manabu tomorrow, and I will feel the loneliness of losing the Lord. If so, I knew that it would have been a better idea. Of course, let's go without any objection, said Sir Katano. Next to the word, because it has passed the star frost of 8 years since the beginning of the Horiki calendar, the shogunate itself seems to be off guard these days, but on the contrary, some members of the Tenma group, and also I wonder if there is a person who is obsessed with the secret of Edo. On the contrary, their leap in the dark should be scary, said Takeya's third place, with a crawling newsletter. First of all, the one who saw that we had a back shield called our family was the secret Kozen Zemi of the Edo era. This is safe because it is pushed into the prison of MT. However, there are also people here who claim to be Tenman Ronin Tsurugi Kozen, Tawara Ikehikiro, etc., and they are searching for the secrets of our family without any collusion with the secrets of Eno. It's important, and I don't know if it's going to have a rut on the Horiki calendar. The right general changed color. But don't worry. Sir Takeya, like my hand. Kozan was chased away from Sumiyoshi village, and Ikehikiro was swiftly summoned and captured. Eventually, he was sent to Kenzan and, like Zemi, became a resident of a lifelong prison. Well, that's the best. We will not leak water. The wise Shigeki and the unscrupulous third-ranked Aramura will be on the curtain. Ha 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 ha, Awamori, who had been silent until then, laughed as if he liked the youthful words of his life. And soon I got a straight face. Aside from the rest, what is the pattern of the messenger sent to the three lords for some time? Immediately answered, or during the discussion, the reply was mixed, but the joint names of the princes of the nations who had consented to this day. 2. I developed a joint name letter with Slurry. Third place, thank you. When Awa Mamur was blinded. He stands ha and checks for a deserted person, and sits back on the edge of the rim to act as a watchman. If the world is the world, the third-ranked Lord Takeya may also work as a politician of the Kuju poetry, the politics of the royal mausoleum, or even a watchman. The world is now inferior to the small officials of the shogunate. It's a time when there is no choice. If you think it's an early bird, you'll touch it, but if you think it's because of you, Iketan. The third-ranked lord is a guardian with a cheerful face. Oh, he put on a fan, took a breath with Awa Mamoru and Gosenkyo, who dropped their eyes on the joint name, and followed the blood test with Zu. The lord, Prince Tokudaiji. He muttered with a sigh. The 27 households of Dogami's allies, if we finally approach, we will include all of Kyoto, Sakuma responds. Mr. Takeuchi Shikabu in Uji. I'm going to look up to you as a warrior. Edo Omode is Yamagata Dani. Is it a plan to set fire first and wait for the royal army in Hakone? It's a match with Shika. And what are the daimyo who respond to the cause? First, Sir Katano, the key to the folding fan. Hachisuka Awa Morishige, that is, our family. Hizen, Kurumezari Matadayori. Oh. Kato family in Ozu, Tachibana family in Yanagawa. When I said, Nabashima in Saga, Hosokawa in Kumamoto, Kanamori family in Nasho Hachiman. Hey, it looks suspicious. The third-ranked watchman waved. Suspicious person. When I heard that, the three lords hurriedly wrapped up the joint name letter. Awa Mamur will surely become. The light of the short cage smoldered, a little anxiety grabbed the candle, and somehow an unpleasant air was found. Who is it? Who is it? The youthful third-ranked lord had already descended to the garden, and was in the darkness of the grove. When I thought that the tree shook in the back, and then the footsteps of a person were heard, I squeezed a samurai who suddenly appeared, a 6-shaku stick, and flew apart with bloody eyes. It was. Oh, stop. Ha. Please refrain. It's the place where Awamorden is coming. It seems to be a mansion, So when the third-ranked lord approached Sukazuka, the man with a 6-shaku stick shook his hands astonishingly when he saw the appearance of him in the Tsukiya. Rude guy. Aramura scolded and scolded. Tonight, I've been told that no one will come near this pavilion. Ha, I'm sick of the garden keeper. It's finally time for the guards themselves to make a noise in their seats, and nothing will happen. I'm very sorry. Retreat. I will take care of you. But if you don't renew the garden, it won't work. Why? A Tenma Ronin named Ikehikiro Tawara, who has been in the prison since recently. Ikehikiro sent from Otsu. What happened? No, the Ronin is extremely mysterious even in the prison, but there are a lot of people who are constantly trying to approach the prison from the outside. Say something strange, isn't it? Even now, when I casually looked around, a suspicious shadow approached the door of the prison, and I was trying to call out to him, so I was sternly chasing after him. However, I quickly lost sight of the shadow, and forgot to be near the Sui Gazasho, so I caught this mischief. Faithfulness of the role, there will be no blame for this, said the third-ranked lord from the edge of Tsukiya toward Awamori. As you heard, it seems that there is a person who has a connection to Ikehikiro in this house. Don't know. Bumshi. Ha. Recommended, closer. Ha put down a 6-shaku stick and came to the nighttime samurai, a terrifying shoe, and crawled like a frog. There is no falsehood now. Why? I'm afraid. Then I ask, but I wonder if those who are constantly trying to get closer to Ikehikiro Tawara have seen what kind of appearance they have. I'm sorry for the blame for the omission, but I've just lost the shadow I saw the night before and tonight, and unfortunately I haven't found it. Yes. Awamori's face is dark. The people of the Three Lords also twisted their heads to hear. But there is only one thing that is obvious. What is it? The songwriter is certainly a woman. I saw this at night. What? Awamamura makes his soul sparkle. It's more and more mysterious that the suspicious guy is a woman. By the way, I think there is a maid who is lit up with Ikehikiro. I can't say it suddenly, but even if I guess from the situation before and after, I think it's because of the person in the mansion. It's an unconscious translation. Shigeki turned to himself. The secret eyes that had been meticulously bent were filled with discomfort that was disturbed by someone. Then he had a heavy thought for a while, but he seemed to think of something, and he changed his mind. Bumshi. Ha. Call Kinasuk Mori. Immediately. And in another hall, clearly count the number of candles and line up all the maids in this lower mansion. Have a quick preparation of sake. Tomorrow, because of the departure of Manabu Murakami, we will take into consideration the farewell party. It was fine and nice. On the face of the white powder, while receiving a pink light, the 14 or 5 maids all offered one candlestick, and paid the darkness from the long corridor to the chrysanthemum of 100 tatami mats. It flowed in. Soon, Shigeki Awa moved from the tea house to here, and the third Lord Takeya, who is a foodie, will follow him, including the 3 lords called Kyo Ronin. Tomorrow will be a farewell party for the ship, and here will be a rough night of pleasure like a daimyo. People, let's get drunk to our heart's content. First, raise a cup from Awamori, and say something like this. Long night feast. Said Admiral Wright, improvising. If so, it is also a banquet of remnants. Since the feudal lord gave Awa no Kuni, on the ship returning to Kaminofu, Taisho, and other sailors, #sailors are sailors in the bottom line, because even a drop of liquor is a stubborn family constitution. Get it, be smart, and drink. I love these nights, the third-ranked lord of the ever-boring diners. Awa Mamoru is about to get sick. Let's get drunk, let's sing. Let's dance. Whatever. Good luck. Drum, immediately received from his maid's hand, and Awa Mamoru closed the curtain. Don't. And the third-place lord robbed from the side. I will hit the small drum with the training of Aramura and Okura style. The dancer is the Lord, Iza. Let's dance. Naruto dance. Let's go to see it all at once, Naruto dance of Awamorden, Sir Shichijo, Sir Baikei, Sir Katano, all became nice colors and got excited. Look at the maids too. The women who were in the back of the Fusama lined up, laughed with ho-ho, and gazed at the unusual dance of the palace. Striking the third place, the treasured small drum dianthus. Aramura corrects and pawns. Hit or dianthus. Rokuzo Okura, a master of Tsu, is not as good as that, but apparently a talented performer. Pawn, pawn. Looking at the sound, Awa Mamoru, the toes of the White Sox quietly sneak out. Oh Naruto, die Naruto. If you danced, the three lords also sang about the voice accordingly. Large Naruto. Great Naruto. Yuvat rings at the bottom of the infinite muddy world de Nariman. De Naruto. Flush, muddy world, invade Naruto. At the bottom of the muddy world, it rings, it rings. I'm angry Naruto whirlpools. Wash in Naruto. Muddy world of the season. Pawn. And the third place, forget me. Strike Tokugawa. It was when the three lords stopped singing with surprise. A valet who came to sprint down the long corridor. Den-sama, holding his hands. What? Come on, Kinasuke Mori. Why don't you show up early if you've been waiting from the front? To prepare for Manabu, I came to Kawaguchi's side ship for some kind of happiness, and I'm sorry that I don't seem to be in the ship's warehouse right now. Why are you doing this now, Chatsu? I'm doing something lately, he muttered. There is no way. Then call the corner of Tendo. Huh. When I tried to retreat, Mamoru Awa stopped in a hurry again. Wait, while you're here, Ikehikiro Tawara, who has been in the prison, tell me to pull him to the garden. As the valet left, Mamoru Awa and Naruto danced with a cheerful voice. However, he was dancing and looking at it, reading the number of maids in the Fusama. I saw a figure moving to the garden. Did you do it? When Awa Mamoru said something like this. Hatendo Ichikaku's answer. I brought Ikehikiro Tawara here. It was early. Nodding strongly, well, big. Tenma's Ronin who looks into the secrets of our house with alleged suspicions, and Shigeki will make it a blood festival himself with a side dish that is good for a farewell party on the boat. Some maids. And I looked around the maids who had flown away with a keen eye. Sword. The small surname was immediately presented. And Shigeki who brought it to his left hand. Put the candlestick out into the corridor, and let the women see the blood festival. The proud sword, firefly slashing, touches the handle of Shinkaku and pulls it out. Awaden, did you get a little drunk? Said Aramura, who had a face that didn't fall into his arms and shook the drum, but the other three lords rarely saw blood. I advanced the face soon. The maids, as ordered, took out some of the candlesticks into the corridor and flowed like flowers, but a pulse of murder, flowing from the palace's eyebrows, somehow scary. Koyotsuka, the sacrifice of the blood festival. From the singing voice of Naruto Mai, he made a thicker voice and stared at Awa Morishihara and the garden. There was a concentric veil of wrath, and the rope but was taken in one corner and refrained. It's been 100 days since I was trapped here from Seiki's Shigurito, and it seems that my shoulders are pale, and I'm thin and weak, but I'm enthusiastic. I cut the front to the candle between the brilliant chrysanthemums, and looked up at Shigeki's face without any hesitation. A silent struggle for a while staring at each other, with the Makoto looking down on him, and the Makoto Ikehikiro intertwined with each other. Eventually, Mamoru Awa. In that position, I don't want to open my mouth easily even if I ask. He pointed at the tip of the firefly sword in front of him from the top of the corridor. I'm sure there's a litter who has lived in the lower mansion from your hands. There must be a servant woman lurking here. Let's save and use only life. Ikehikiro closed his eyes as if he was noisy, but at that time, the third maid in the hallway was a girl with a round face that looked like 16 or 7, and her neck hung down and she in buru-buru. I shook my shoulder bones. It's a hassle. Put the Ronin on the storm and prepare water. When Awa Mamoru was called, Hat, the Tendo corner, and the guards who were in the garden worked in a hurry, and the seed of death that should be defeated in an instant. Make. Ready, ready. Awamori, Zakari, who brought the firefly-slashing Shinkaku along with the garden clogs, and I wondered if I could go to it. He turned his eyes to the maid on the side. 16 and 7 lovely booth messengers, hiding her hands behind her sleeves, but from the front of her obi, a string of kaiken bags. It was unraveling and falling. 10 Maronins Mawashi. As soon as he approached behind him, Shigeki Awa's leg kicked his palm, and the woman's obi. Along with a gentle, soul-cutting voice, ah. The girl who was kicked down was a fine dust of falling flowers, throwing her kaiken that she had hidden, and came to Ikuhikiro's side. I cried suddenly. Aligning her voice, her friends. I was surprised to hear "Oh, Suzudan." It was this bell that skipped the messenger of the pigeon, and always leaked the inside of the mansion to the hands of the concentric bales. Don't cry. Ikuhikiro scolded him with a fierce voice. And she tried to hug her younger sister, who had come to her side, but her hands were not free. Oh, it's all this world, don't cry, my sister. I hope you're happy to die by her brother's side, he bit his bitter voice with his lips. By the way, one valet announced that Kinosuke Mori had arrived. Awa Mamoru called Ikuhikiro a blood festival, and was happy to find a swordsman among the maids in the pot, he thought. Kinosuke, Kinosuke. Put the Shinkaku sword in the scabbard while calling. It was Kinosuke Mori who bowed to the side of the corner. Because I was running around to prepare for tomorrow, I didn't even know how to eat it, and I groaned late. He made this excuse, but in fact, he secretly remembered his spare time in public affairs and sneaked into Tsunakura, where Okome was hidden, and did not know what he was doing. Who will board the side boat of Manabu tomorrow? Humite of Jotaro Ishida rides. It's convenient for you. Huh. And these two people, Ikuhikiro and Suzu, are loading into the bottom of the side ship. I'm sorry to know. The section of arriving at Nasuyo no Yura is not as good as stopping at Anatsu Castle, and immediately go up the Yoshino River, and send 2 guys to the spy prison of MT Tsurugi. Kinosuke was the one who was struck, and in order to bring Okome to Awa, it is more convenient to attach a guard to something than the main ship, Manabu Murakami. I hid the color of getting and responding, and let the guard pull out Ikuhikiro Tawara, and the bell and hurry to the ship warehouse.